Let's see if it works. Yes. Hello YouTube, welcome YouTube. Does it work? I see the live, yes it works. Welcome YouTube, we are working on Hyperslice boss design again this afternoon. Friday afternoon, we're working on boss design, it's going to be cool. I think robust and unique mechanics are what makes great games great. Yes. And I think that's what I need to do. I think my goal, you see one of the biggest problem I think when you're making a game is that it's so easy to get distracted and to make your idea bigger than it was initially. So I started with this Hyperslice idea. It was much smaller initially, of course. And you're trying to make it fit a genre, and I think that's one of my biggest mistake. When the moment you say to yourself, this is a roguelike or a roguelite, doesn't matter, honestly. You start looking at what is a roguelike, and then you start adding stuff. You see what I mean? Instead of saying, my game is going to be this, you're now modifying your game to become what is a roguelike. And because roguelikes are incredibly popular, and we have many examples, and examples that are incredibly complicated, incredibly complex, incredibly rich and beautiful and whatever, it will become bigger because you will see something somewhere and be like, oh yeah, this is cool, I should add that. Oh, and a roguelike should have a bunch of upgrades, and it should have meta progression, and it should have that and that and that, and then it bubbles. And then at the end of the day, I guess the risk is honestly the problem could be to just have something that is just like any other game out there. You see what I mean? You just have a game that is like any other game out there because you're fitting the theme so the genre so well that you're not even doing your own stuff. And the cool thing about Hyperslice is not really the roguelike. You see what I mean? The game is not interesting because it's a roguelike. I think the game is interesting because of the mechanic, because it is centered around the dash. And I should really focus on that, on making sure that this mechanic is used to its biggest potential. And that's why I'm removing the abilities, I think, because the abilities were kind of a way for me to fit into the roguelike aesthetic genre, and I was forgetting what was the core mechanic of the game, which is dashing, and that dash has outcomes. You see what I mean? So hopefully I'm going in the right direction, but I think I am. And it's a struggle. It's very much a struggle. And just to finish on that before I continue, the second mistake I've made, and I realized that not so long ago, the second mistake I've made is the visuals of the game. Like, I'm pretty happy with how it looks. I like it, but I think it's slightly above what I want for what is supposed to be a short game and a small game. I don't know if it's clear. It's slightly too big, it's difficult to put a word on that, but too HD, you see what I mean? Too much effort. The visuals are great, very juicy. I get comments on that very often, but I think they're too much. And it means that every time I need to do something, it requires a bunch of work, it requires a bunch of visuals, and much more work than if I had a much simpler visual aesthetic. And I think it's a big mistake because it doesn't allow you to make a game fast. It doesn't allow you to be very efficient with what you're doing. I'm spending a lot of time modifying some stuff, tweaking, making sure that it looks the way I want. And I have very complex effects that are a bunch of layers of a bunch of things, and it's really not easy. And I think in my future games, I might go with a simpler aesthetic, but bolder aesthetic. simpler but bolder aesthetic, which I think is also interesting. First of all, I think it's easier to make your game. It's faster, and I guess it's also a good way to stand out. You see what I mean? Because you have a different aesthetic. You have something that people can easily recognize. And I'm going to show you a bunch of games really quickly to show you what I mean. And maybe you will disagree with me. I think what I'm showing you right now is too different, but hey. I was playing Hyperslice on itch. Nice game. Thank you so much. If you have the ability to play co-op, please don't hesitate. That would be incredibly useful. Mars, how are you doing? This has a very nice aesthetic, but it's too complex. I've been playing the latest game by Kebabscal, the playtest. Really cool game. If you're interested, I'm gonna show you the game really quickly. Because it's as always with games from Kebabscal, the aesthetic is on point, and the gameplay is also really cool. But it's not a good example of a simple aesthetic. The aesthetic might seem simple, but I think there's a lot of work going on. So just to show you, the game he's working on is called Wild Growth. There is a playtest that you can join, so if you are interested, don't hesitate to give it a try. I don't have 2 gamepads. Will work with keyboard. No, unfortunately no. Because I want to make my life... I don't want to struggle too much. So the problem is that the keyboard is bound to player 1 and the gamepad 2. And I don't have an easy way to change that. I can think about what would be the easiest way for me to try to make that work, but even playing with the keyboard is such a pain. Such a pain. It's not meant to be played with a keyboard. It's not precise enough. So yeah. Unfortunately, no, right now not possible. So this is Wild Growth. Very cool aesthetic. Let's look at that really quickly. The sound effects are amazing. You should definitely listen to it. And as always, very dark, colorful yet colorful aesthetic. Beautiful effects everywhere. Like this is. It looks like a finished game, right? And it's really cool. It's a really cool concept. So I recommend checking it if you want. Yeah. If it was keyboard, I could force my brother to test with me. Yeah, I know. But, you know, the thing is, working on co-op so early in development is already kind of a mistake. So I'm not going to spend too much time, like, working on other things. Just to show you another game he made that I really enjoyed. Hail is Other Demons. Very dark, but yet very colorful game. Bold colors. I think it stands out, right? It looks beautiful. You see it and you're like, oh yeah, beautiful game. Just look at that. Just look at the colorful, yet very dark aesthetic, full of super cool VFX and stuff. Lovely. But this is a bad example of what I was talking earlier, which is more like that. When I say I want to make simpler games in terms of aesthetic, I'm talking about something like this. You see, there's not a lot going on in a game like that, right? In one-button bosses, there's not a lot going on. And it works. It works very well. Each action has like 1 or 2 particles effects, not more than that. Even the background is incredibly simple, right? It's just a bunch of colors. And what you have to realize as game devs is doing something like this is restrictive. And the moment you're restricted, your life becomes easier. You might think that it removes freedom, but in fact it does the opposite. The moment you don't have all of the choices available, but you only have a limited amount of choices, for example, in terms of shapes, in terms of colors that you want to use, now, every time you want to do something, you only have to decide between, like, I don't know, 3 things. So much easier. So I really recommend going with simpler aesthetic and a bold aesthetic. Like this is a lot of colors, a lot of different colors, and not necessarily colors that you see very often. And it works. Look at that. Look at that. I think it works. You might not like it. You might think it looks bad. Why not? But you cannot say that it doesn't look bold, right? On another style, Luftrausers is similar to that, right? Simple color palette. The moment you will see a GIF online with that color palette and with something moving in the sky, you will be like, oh yeah, I know this game. You see what I mean? That's the thing you want. You want to be recognizable. And you want to attract the viewer, the potential player. And I think it does this. Another example of something that I played recently, Dubio. Dubio, simple aesthetic, but beautifully executed. Beautifully executed. And it works really well. What works incredibly well is the shader work on the background. Like, the background is incredibly simple, but the shader work makes it so much more alive. Like, honestly, playing it is a breeze just for that. Like, it's... The gameplay, first of all, is really cool, but then the simple aesthetic is really used to its full extent, right? You have sometimes the level design is disappearing and you have to remember it. Some of it will be revealed only when you go and you touch it. Sometimes you will have to deactivate and activate it, and you see how that one effect that they probably put a lot of effort in, right? This one shader that they have on the obstacles is reused everywhere in a bunch of ways. That is what I talked about earlier. You create something and then you try to use it as much as you can. Right? Not because you're cheap, but because as an indie, that's what you need to do. You can't expect to be doing unique things constantly. It's not really realistic, especially if you want to make a small game. So Dubio, if you're looking for a small, like, platforming, puzzly game, pretty cool and very cheap, I think. Very cheap. I bought it, like, yeah, $3.99 on sale, and it's $4.99 right now. It released a bunch, it released, like, not so long ago. Really cool game. I discovered that. Really cool. And you see the aesthetic is nice. I don't know if I have other examples. Of simple aesthetic like that. Maybe Shapes and Beats, sorry, is similar to that. You see that, for example, in Shapes and Beats, the cool thing that they're doing is that everything is pretty much the same color, right? But then there's a lot of work on the different shapes, the animations, the VFX and stuff. So it's slightly more complicated. Geometry Wars, for example, is not. It's too complex. Then there's a bunch of stuff. Cuphead is the definition of not simple. It's incredibly detailed, and it's like it's a whole. It's another world, completely different world. See, for example, this one. I don't know this game. The Flow, I don't know. If you have examples of games like that, simple aesthetic, but bold. That can work really well. Barrier X is more complicated. Maybe this is Studio Bean. Yeah, this is definitely something like that, right? Bold colors, simple aesthetic. Dodge the music and dance through mesmerizing ballet of choreographed bullets. Okay, Studio Bean. Who are they? Oh, they make a bunch of games, right? Anyway, you see the point. I think you get the point. That's the true meaning of indie. Geo Dash better. I don't like Geometry Dash. I don't like the aesthetic that much. And the aesthetic is already much more complex. What I'm trying to say is, going with something simple yet bold is really interesting as an indie. That's what I'm trying to say. I will put that on YouTube too, and let's go for the boss, I guess. Before we do the boss, I'm just going to finish this upgrade, and then we can continue with the boss, right? I am in main, that's okay. And let's go. So, the combo drops slower. I checked on player picked, so this is in the combo itself, right? In the combo itself, you can see that in here, I'm connecting the player picked upgrade on upgrade pick, but I want to check on ready, because I'm not recreating that. In what situation could that happen? I'm not exactly sure, to be honest. It should not be the case. Theoretically, this will only be picked. The upgrade will only be picked after the upgrade already exists. But do I need to check in ready? It could be the case if, for example, we remove that. It could work if we remove it, or if we restart the game with the upgrades that we have, but it should not happen. So checking it in ready might not be useful, in fact. But maybe I can... Do you know this game, Winter Falling Battle Tactics? No. It doesn't sound very small for some reason. It sounds like a big game. Is that the case? Maybe it's not. Simple and unique. It's 120 megabytes. Okay. Okay. You know what? You know what is funny in this game? Is that for some people, this could be a prototype, right? Maybe they look at that and they're like, hey, this is prototype art. This is what you do before you actually create the units and stuff. And they made the decision to stick with it. That's interesting. And I guess the background is done with like a map generator or something, which can be an easy way to produce some art without too much trouble. So the art in here is slightly more involved already. It's slightly more involved than what I was saying, but it's not like very I'm going to say high def, but it's not what I mean. It's not what I mean. When I mean high def, I mean complex, right? A game like Nova Drift is complex visually. This is less complex visually, if I make sense. But interesting. Detailed, yeah. Look, Wolf, how are you doing? Let's check. Let's check, even though I don't think it's useful, let's check. If Upgrade Manager get players upgrade, because I don't care if it's 1 or 2 players, combo drops slower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do var upgrade combo slower, drop slower. I'm gonna put it in here, drop slower. It's a resource. I'm going to grab it and I'm going to say if it exists, then upgrade value. Okay, and I've checked it in ready. That is good. Combo, and I can put that in here. It's finished. That's good. Check for upgrade in ready too. Very good. I'm also... No, I'm bumping the version when I release. Okay. Do I do, before I do another thing, do I do more damage during push? I would love to do this upgrade. The problem with this upgrade is that I'm not exactly sure how I'm doing it, and I'm afraid it will require some manual work, and I would love to not do that. Basically, let me tell you what is the problem. I have an upgrade that basically every time you push an object, the object becomes damaging to the other objects, right? For example, you push an enemy, the enemy will deal damage to other enemies while being pushed. And basically this upgrade allows you to deal more damage during that phase. So to avoid having to code a bunch of specific stuff everywhere, I wanted my hitbox to be aware of that. But the thing is, the hitbox that is enabled when the object is being pushed has no idea that it's being pushed. You see what I mean? The hitbox itself doesn't know when it's enabled or not, like why it is enabled. The hitbox is just reporting damage, doing and reporting damage if it's enabled. So then, I don't think the hitbox itself should do that. So then it's probably the thing that is pushing, right? But the push up, it's fun because you're going to see why it's complicated. But the push component has no idea that it must enable a hitbox. It could be a way of doing it. I could modify the code and do that. But right now the push component is just handling an object being pushed, so like doing the actual push mechanic and signaling that, like giving a bunch of signals. So then the next logical place where I must do the check is in this particular signal. So an enemy receiving the signal should enable the hitbox, and at that moment check if the hitbox should do more damage or not, right? I think it's what I should do, but I wanted to avoid that. Because it kind of breaks my idea that enemies must be that my code should be not tied to the other elements, right? Like the player, the enemy is not supposed to know the existence of some of the components. It doesn't need to know. But at the same time, it's so difficult to not do it like that. And I don't have that many objects that can do damage when you push them. I have a bunch of objects though. So you see the problem with that? You see the problem quite easily, right? If I modify the value of the hitbox on the object being pushed, what does it mean? First of all, it means that I need to modify all of the objects that can be pushed right now, which means the enemies. Thankfully, they have a shared scene, so it's just one thing to modify. The block, the thing that you can push, is the block. The gems also can do damage. When you push the gems, when you push the gem box, it can do damage. And the problem with that solution is that it requires manual work. Every time you need to add another object, you will need to think about it. Every time you add something that can do damage when it's pushed, you will have to think about it and say, oh yeah, I need to make sure to check for the upgrade. And then later on in the game, you might have more upgrades to check. So you see what I mean? Basically, the goal is to make sure that I don't have to think about that every time I add a new object. Simply because it's too much work, it can lead to errors and stuff like that. So maybe the best solution is to, in fact, let the pushable component enable a hitbox itself. That way the push component has the knowledge, right? Because the push component, or I do differently. Oh no, that's why my logic was. Oh yeah, I know. That's why I did it that way. Okay, I wanted to do something. Okay, so let's before we do the boss fight, YouTube, please bear with me. I know YouTube, sometimes people on YouTube, watching on YouTube, they don't have the same, they don't watch the streams the same way we watch on Twitch, right? And so they want you to be in the action right away. And so if you say you're doing something and then you're doing something else, they don't like it. But it's okay. That's the way it is. Okay, TYJ. Hello, Mars. Hello. Thank you for the 5 consecutive streams. So I think my next best solution, which still needs some manual work, but less code, so probably a bit more easier to manage, would be to add into the hitbox enemy. An array. Okay, let me think about that. Let me see if it works or not. So basically, what I want is my hitbox. I want my hitbox to be doing more damage. If 2 things: 1, we are being pushed. 2, the player has that upgrade. Oh, and then we have a problem. The enemy the hitbox has no idea who is pushing. That's the problem. That's it. I know now. I know why I'm struggling. Because if I do it this way, if I let the hitbox check for the upgrade itself, I don't know who is pushing. And the hitbox is not enabled directly, right? So we are enabling hits, so we could pass the information, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to rely on that. I don't want to rely on me passing the information, but I think I have a solution. That is perfect. My message gets highlighted, changes that my which is fun fact. It's not my favorite color. It's not your favorite color. I think the best way to have your favorite color is to subscribe. I think it's to sub T1. I think. Maybe not. Okay, let's do it that way. I think it's gonna work because I know how to handle that. Oh my god, it's going to get complex, but hopefully it's going to work. Are you ready? First, we export what we need. We export var. So we are in Godot 3, so unfortunately I can't do typed arrays, but it's not a problem. I'm gonna export upgrades to check. Something generic enough, okay? I'm gonna do an example on my hitbox enemy. On all of the other hitboxes, I don't care. On my hitbox enemy, I'm going to check a new upgrade. So it's an object, quick load, and it's upgrade. How is it called? Upgrade push damage or something. Upgrade push damage. This is... No, I put the PNG, sorry. Fuck. Quick load. Upgrade. Push damage. Alright. Okay, this is the upgrade that I want to check. And also gift a few dozen subs just to be sure. Exactly. You just do that. So now I have some upgrades I want to be able to check. And basically, this is agnostic. This is not objects that you check when you are pushed, right? It's just upgrades that you are going to check. And then I do the code inside of the hitbox. The thing is, I can just put it inside of here in the hitbox enemy because I know this is the hitbox that is enabled when they are being pushed, okay? So this is good. So now, when I'm doing some damage in here, I will do take damage. You've seen here, I will do take damage. So very simple. In here, I will check if an upgrade an upgrade can be used, right? Check if an upgrade can be used. First of all, we go through the upgrades that we have, I guess, right? So for upgrade in upgrades to check, pass, we are going to check in here if the player has it. So we are going to say upgrade manager, player has upgrade, right? Two things. if the upgrade is shared, so this is something specific for the when you have multiple players, the upgrades can be shared, because sometimes the upgrades are touching something that both players are contributing to. For example, the combo is contributed to by the two players, so the upgrade is shared. No matter if the player 1 or player 2 has it, it's going to be used. So if the upgrade is shared, you're going to do a specific check, else you're going to do another check. So in this case, players has upgrades, meaning any of the player, and we can check what upgrade. And the upgrade is target, so we can do upgrade. We can check the upgrade by doing update target, okay? And in here we can do the same thing, but we need the player ID in here. In here we need the player ID. How do I get this player ID? How do I know which player is currently doing something for us? Well, in the case of this specific enemy, I want to know if I'm being pushed. So what I can do is get the target and check if the target has pushable. I can do if target has meta pushable. Okay, I can check if the parent object can be pushed or not. If it's the case, I can get that meta. I will do it differently. I will do var pushable. It's a pushable. And I'm putting the target in here. Or I'm doing as... I'm doing that as pushable. If pushable, so it means that it works. That we have a pushable component. If it's pushable, we can do something. I think the pushable has the pushed by. The pushable knows by who it's being pushed, so we can use that. And because we are doing damage, so this is something quite specific, but because currently we are doing damage with that hitbox, it means that we are being pushed at the moment. Dilly Daddly on YouTube, thank you for the follow. You see what I mean? It means that we are currently being pushed. Otherwise, we would not detect areas. We would not detect enemies. So if we have a pushable, we can look at the enemy, at the pushable pushed by. In here, it's complicated, but in here, I need to check if the pushed by is a player or not, because otherwise I don't have player ID. Which means that for some specific situations, such as the ultimate push, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. I need to think about that. Enemies that are pushed by this ultimate are not going to use the code that I'm writing right now. I like the fonts of $1 and a few cents to buy a sub, and I don't have PayPal debit card to buy a sub. What's your favorite color? It used to be green, but I'm not sure. Player.userid. No. In Roblox Studio, all these functions are pre-built, so that's why you should switch. Is that a joke? Is that a fucking joke? Are you joking? Roblox has nothing to do with making games the way we do. I guess you understand that, right? Of course it has pre-built stuff. It's a fucking game. You're making stuff with the constraints of a game. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in that at all. I create my solutions. And ChatGPT is shit. Stop relying on that. Oh, something I've seen that honestly worries me. Recently, ChatGPT was not available. There was an outage or something, and I saw some people tweet about the fact that they were struggling because the thing that they were relying on was not available. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you relying on that? That's it. That's what I wanted to say. So I need to think about that for the ultimate push. In the meantime, I have this in here. That is good. So if pushable, and pushable pushed by is in group player, I'm gonna check like that. You know, it means that we have an ID, so we can do this, basically. We can do this. Pushable. We can do PID. PID is equal to the pushable pushed by ID. Okay? Else pass. In here, I need to say I will default to 0 in here. That way we still have something. In here, I will say to do. Find a way to know who triggered. Find a way to know who triggered the push. If it's coming from something the player owns, like the ultimate. So I guess the solution would be, I'm gonna put a hint in the solution. Solution would be for all ultimate to inherit ultimate class, something like that, right? I don't rely on GPT. I rely on forms and docs, and that's what. What? But the docs are usually, you can have them offline, right? You have them built in Godot, for example. So I don't exactly know why some people were struggling with ChatGPT being offline, and that's what worries me. It really worries me because some people don't realize that ChatGPT might seem incredibly useful, but I think it's misleading because it's incredibly stupid. And it regurgitates stuff that is very low quality. And too many people are using it as a search engine also nowadays. And as a search engine, it's really bad. Because it's very often hallucinating stuff. I rely on a hardback textbook. Good luck. Good luck with that. So we need to find a solution, right? This is the solution specifically for if you have an ultimate. Because the ultimate is going to trigger... it's going to trigger a knockback. Oh, I'm so fucking incredibly. Oh my god, I'm a killer. I'm a killer. It works already. I'm a killer. It works already. Oh my god, I didn't think about that. Because when I knock back, I tell you who is doing the knockback, and the ultimate is passing the parent, so it works already. Oh my god, of course. I knew exactly what I was doing. Very good. Very, very good. Very, very good. So I like that. Okay, cool. So in here, we don't have that. If it's not a player, can it be something related to the player? Ultimate passes the player as the pushed by already. So is there anything else that can create a push that is not the player directly? I don't think so. It should be alright. Hey Clem, how are you doing? Hello. Doesn't even have free will. So I think it works. So in this case we don't know. Right now we don't know, but it's okay. Okay, so let's make sure that it works. We go through the upgrades. We go through the upgrades to check. If the upgrade is shared, player has upgrade. That's not how I want to do it. That's not what I want to do. I want to do... because this doesn't exist. We need to do get upgrade. We want to do var player upgrade. It's an upgrade. And we want to do get players upgrade. It's the same thing, but it's not the same thing, right? We want to do that. Same thing for here. The has doesn't really work. And I want to do player upgrade in here. So if the upgrade is shared, we get the upgrade, and then we need to match, right? We need to match on what is the upgrade. So what I should do is do that. Do var player upgrade. It's an upgrade. By default, it's null. By default, it's null. In here, we try to retrieve it. We try to retrieve it. So we do that. And then in here, we do that. Okay. In here, we can check now. In here, we can say if player upgrade. Shit, I switched my thing. The player has this upgrade. React. So if we don't have, better. If we don't have, we early return. We say, hey, we don't care about that. We don't want to continue. We can't do that actually. We can't do that actually because otherwise it's going to break. So let's do if we have the upgrade. And now what do I want to do? I want to match. I want to match the player upgrade. I want to match what? I want to match the target, I guess. Because now I need to react. So if, for example, it's upgrade manager, target dash, no, push damage, then I can react. This is the only one I want to react. So now that I have my structure, you see basically all of this code is here to check if we can use an upgrade or not. And then in here we react to the upgrades that we want to do something with. And in here, I think what I would like to do in here is change the value of my damage, right? My damage in here is 1, and I want to change the value. I want to change the damage value. So in here, I could do total damage. Total damage. It's an int. It starts at being damage, and we pass it in here, total damage, and in here, total damage is plus equal the upgrade, the player upgrade value. So we add the value that we want. Do you know why this is important? Do you know why this is important? If I'm correct, now that I have my boilerplate inside of my hitbox enemy, or all of my hitboxes, I can just plug the upgrade that I want, and it works. Doing well, how are you? What's the task for today? Today we're doing... I'm just fixing an upgrade right now, and then we do boss design. We work on the boss for the demo. Say something in French. No. You need to redeem the French for that. Total damage. Okay? Total damage. So now the cool thing is that all of my enemies, because I've added that into my enemy base, all of my enemies are looking for the upgrade push damage. But I also want my block to be doing that. So very simple. I go in here, size. I say object. And now I quick load. Push damage. And boom. That's it. Now my block is also checking for that. Is also checking for this specific thing. I should have done the same for the gem orb. With the gem orb, the hitbox is enabled. Okay, so the hitbox is only enabled when we dash, so I can do the same thing. I can say, hey, I want a new object, and I want, again, push damage. So you see, instead of having to create code every time, I can just do that. I can just put the upgrade that I want to be able to check when this hitbox is doing damage. And it works. What the French toast? It's good, right? It's good. I'm happy. Now we need to test it. We need to test it. So it's push damage. So let's go in here. Upgrade category and constant expression. Oh, for fuck's sake. It cannot be var player upgrade. It's an upgrade. Yeah, I can't do that. Unfortunately, Godot 3 cyclic references, so I can't tell it that it's an upgrade, but I can tell it it's a resource at least. Very, very... No? Why? There is still a cyclic reference. Where is it? Where is the cyclic reference? Do you think... Where's the cyclic reference? Is it crazy? Where's the cyclic reference? When it's doing that, it's because it thinks that there is a cyclic reference, but there is none, right? I just removed it. Oh, for fuck's sake. Godot is fucking frustrating for that. Godot 3, incredibly frustrating for that. And what if we listen to something more chill? What do you think? Yes. Are you telling me that it's still the case? And it's not going to tell me where exactly. What? It usually tells you. The fuck is happening? Ooh, you know what? You know what might be triggering this cyclic reference? Simply the fact of having the player. Simply the fact of having the player in of having that upgrade directly in here could be creating a cyclic reference, but it's not saying. To chip into the convo earlier, if you actually try using ChatGPT, it's often wrong still, sadly. What was the long way around the problem doing necessary things? For simple problems, okay though. Yeah, but I don't get the appeal, to be honest. I really don't. I used it for things that I was definitely not proficient with, and it was interesting because I didn't have to learn. But that's the biggest problem, in my opinion, is that you don't have to learn at all. You don't have to learn at all. Like, you could create some stuff without understanding a damn thing about what you're doing, and very fast very, very fast, it will become a problem. Because that's what we are good at as humans. We are good at solving problems, especially complex problems. And the AI is not doing for you. The AI doesn't, it's just predicting what seems to be the best. So it breaks instantly. You need to do a Python script for something to automate it really quickly because you don't know Python and you don't care. Fine. But for everything else, I don't understand. And to be honest, what really scares me a bit is not necessarily people using ChatGPT. I understand, but it's using ChatGPT as if it was intelligent and not just as something like an automation tool. You see what I mean? It's kind of similar to just buying code samples without knowing code. Yes, and sometimes it's fine, right? I think for example, using assets or using libraries for stuff is definitely the way to go, especially when you don't care about understanding it. And it's fine. The problem is with ChatGPT, you have the illusion of being in control, but you control nothing. So I don't know. I don't really think it's going in a good direction. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, I need to understand why it's doing that. And unfortunately, if you do get meta, it throws an error if the entry doesn't exist, unless default is not null, in which case the default value will be returned. Sorry? This is incredibly stupid. This is incredibly stupid. It cannot return null, throws errors if the entry does not exist, unless default is not null, in which case it returns the default value. But fuck, this is stupid. And that is why my as pushable is supposed to fix this. But unfortunately in here I can't do that, so let's do it the old way. Let's do it the old way. Let's do var pushable null if target has meta. You grab the pushable in here. Let's do it that way. And it's creating the same thing. Do we still have a cyclic reference? For fuck's sake. For fuck's sake. I'm afraid. I'm really afraid the cyclic reference is caused by that. So let's try to put the size to 0. What? It is so stupid. I put it in the block and I put it in the gem orb also. The hitbox. Why is it doing this? And the error is so cryptic also. Fuck, that's the case. Fuck, that's the case. So, which method? No, the problem is not the method. The problem is that I have in my exports, I have upgrades to check, and somehow it's triggering. It's not really triggering a cyclic reference. Otherwise, Godot would tell me after the first error, it would tell me that there is a cyclic reference. So what might be happening is different. What might be happening is that the globals are loaded before the upgrade manager, the globals are loaded before the upgrade manager, and in the globals, you don't have yet access to the value in the upgrade manager. But what is in global? What is in global that might be causing the problem? What is in global that might be causing the problem? I'm pretty sure it's that. In here we load a bunch of textures, we don't care. Load a bunch of textures, right? Textures. We have some stats, we don't care. Stats, colors. We have the enemy textures, we don't care. We have the text, that. So it's not the problem. Are they not all loaded before code is executed? I hope you're okay. I have to sleep now. Have a good stream. Thank you, Luke Wolf, and good sleep. So struggle. Are they not loaded before code is executed? You're right. Everything is loaded. Everything is loaded. And so that's because I'm using an enum. That's fucking annoying. That's really fucking annoying. I've been lucky since the beginning of using upgrades. I'll stay here to sleep. It seems kind of cool and cozy. Let's go. It's kind of a pain because you're right. What's happening in terms of order is all of the resources are being loaded because they are dependencies of the players and stuff. And inside of my resource, and that's kind of what we see, right? Let's look at it. I put in here again, I put an object, not an RID. I put an object, and in here I say dash, I say push. Come on, I can't write. I say push damage. Okay. I have this upgrade, and this upgrade, you can see it in here how my upgrade is created. The upgrade depends on the upgrade manager, and the upgrade manager at that time is not loaded yet. What is a good solution for that, in your opinion? What is a good solution for that, in your opinion? And I've been lucky. So why does it work in my case? Because all of my resources are dynamically loaded. I don't have any resource that is loaded apart from here in this enemy base right now, where I'm putting a resource. Usually I'm not loading the resource in advance. So when I'm able to load the resource, the upgrade manager exists. It's an auto load. So what is the solution then? A solution would be to duplicate all of the enums right inside of the resource. Right? Or have a class. Would that work? Instead of relying on an autoload, have a class that is used simply for enums, like a global class. Doom 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 Do you agree that it would work? Because in here, if I add another one, upgrade manager. Yeah, I think maybe we could do that, but this is so frustrating. If I add another category, var test, now the problem is going to be on test. Yes, the first error is we can't find category because it doesn't exist. Okay, now what happens is what happens if, let's say, I have a scene, boop, 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 boom, called upgrades, and in here I create a new script that I called upgrade test. I give it a class name like upgrade test, and in here I put an enum. I define an enum. I say enum. This is an enum test with value 1, value 2, and value 3. Right now I have this. Am I able, instead of my upgrade, to say, hey, this is an export, but it's not coming from here, it's coming from upgrade test, enum test. Does that work? Yes, it does. So the solution when you have... Fuck, that would make my life so much easier, right? I guess the solution when you want to make sure that you can use a global enum is to not use an autoload, but a class, right? As a static class in a way, a class that you will not really instantiate, or you could instantiate it and make it available globally later, right? I could do that. I could say I could modify my upgrade manager to become not an autoload, but a global class that I then register globally so that I can use it. The problem is it's not super easy to use, because I still want the instance, and that's why autoloads are great. That's why autoloads are great, because they're basically static versions in a way. You see what I mean? You have like one thing. I'm confused why the autoload didn't work though. Because the autoload is loaded too late, I guess. Unfortunately. I think the autoload is loaded too late. I think the autoload is loaded too late. And I'm wondering what is causing that. Scene switcher, level manager, spawn manager. Globals is my global and is my upgrade manager. Let me check what is the dependency. If I look at the upgrade manager, we need globals in here, unfortunately. We need globals, so I need globals to be here first. The problem is that if I look at globals, I don't have the feeling that it requires upgrade. You see what I mean? It's not loading. Global is not triggering the load of upgrade. There's no preloading or anything that would cause that, I think. I'm not loading the enemies, I'm not loading that. Oh. But spawn manager is maybe. Spawn manager is maybe. That might be why. Ooh, that might be why. That might be why. Oh. What if we do this? I put the upgrade manager just before the spawn manager, because this bad boy has a bunch of exports. No. So you see, that's why it's confusing, because you don't know where you are in the loading of the game. You don't know yet where you are in the loading of the game, and you don't know why it's triggering that. Remote. It's not showing anything. It's not showing anything, so nothing is created yet. Globals is created. Settings manager is. Save manager is. Steam, signal bus. Console. And I don't know where I am right now. You see what I mean? I don't know what exactly is the order and what is triggering that. You see what I mean? So I don't know exactly why this happens. I guess it's because Godot... I guess what happens is because Godot is somewhat going through all of the scenes that will be used. I don't know exactly. In fact, I don't know. In my remote, I don't see anything yet. And if I look at the stack, the console is already there. Audio manager. Can we see that auto-loaded script? Which one? So you see the upgrade manager is null in here. But because my resources are parsed, for some reason, upgrade manager, yeah, you can if you want. But that's not the problem. I don't think that is the problem. And you see the only one loading the resource is the upgrade manager. So, in my understanding, there is something triggering the resource. But I guess Godot is just going through the resources, going through the objects and checking if they work, right? You see what I mean? Finished all classes for this semester. I'm left with one C++ exam. And then I start next semester. Let's go! Congrats, Kamilos. I hope it's going to go well. So, basically, this resource is somewhat loaded or checked before my upgrade manager is ready. And I don't know exactly how Godot works with that. I don't know what is the logic in Godot. What are the steps? Is there somewhere where Godot tells you, like, what are the steps? Godot, what could be the parse step, loading steps? Like, what is loaded first and how does that work? Background loading, runtime file, resource loader, no. Maybe if I look at the docs, I might be able to check that. Let's go into 3.6. Where could it be? Editor, manual, inputs, I don't care. Asset pipeline, optimization, rendering script, getting started, about. Manual, development, compiling, engineering, go file format. I would have thought that autoloads aren't done async, but that's just an assumption. They are not doing... No? What do you mean? I would have thought that the autoloads aren't done async. They're not done async. They're done in the order that you ask them to be done in. Right? Hey, they don't put me in here. Those fuckers. Look at that. I'm not in here. I'm not in here, Godot. I'm not in here in the tutorials. Best practice to the asset pipeline, audio internal input, output. No. I don't know. Class reference, globals resource. Maybe it's going to tell me it's the base class. Resources are referenced, packaging with the most common objects. In GGScript, resource can be loaded from disk. The engine keeps a global cache of all loaded resource referenced by in C#. Resources changed. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I don't know. So in here, basically, what I don't know is what is triggering that? What is triggering that? And my understanding is that Godot is probably somehow parsing some stuff somewhere, trying to load, like, I guess my enemy, because this is when it's triggering, right? It's loading, it's parsing my enemy, which then is trying to load that, but my enemy is loaded before my upgrade manager is ready. Autoloads are treated as node in the root scene. Yeah, I know that. In which case, classes are probably compiled earlier in the process. Exactly, yes. Classes are compiled earlier in the process, and that's why in here this works. That's why this enum tests works, because this is done immediately, right? Whereas the upgrade manager, if you look at the thing, my upgrade manager is done pretty late in the process. First, we have the console, we have the signal bus, we have the save manager, we have Steam globals, blah, 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 blah. A bunch of those. From my understanding, none of those, apart from the spawn manager, should be loading the enemy. But maybe I'm not correct, so let's go through all of them. Ooh. That fucker might be. What is this shit? Where is this coming from, that autoload? What is this crypt? What is this crypt's loader? Oh, it's me. I wanted to do that. I wanted to do that. My problem might be coming from here because I'm trying to load everything, and thus I'm loading earlier than I should some of the projects. Because my idea with this class, I never finished it, but my idea with this script was to load in advance a bunch of scripts. That way, because one of the problem with Godot is you make a mistake somewhere. And because it's not compiled, you only see it when the script is finally loaded and used, right? You make a mistake where, I don't know, you're checking the wrong type, or you're using a function that doesn't exist, and Godot cannot tell you before you run the game. That could be far in the game. That could be very far in the game. And so I wanted to be able to load them in advance. That might be causing some problem though. Not sure, but that might be it. So then the question is, if classes are no, it's still a problem. If classes are compiled before autoload objects, which I think would make sense. So then the question is, if classes are compiled before autoloaded objects, they are. I can tell you they are. Otherwise, this wouldn't work, I think. Zuhair, hello on YouTube. How are you using Restream? No, I'm using a plugin directly for OBS. So instead of using Restream, I'm actually streaming to both platforms from my PC. I'm sending two streaming two streams. I'm sending two different streams. Nice for testing. It would be nice for testing, yes, but it created some problems. I still have the problem though. Console? Could console be the cause? Let's check. Console has nothing to do with any of my enemies. So console, no. Let's continue. Signal bus? I don't think so. Enemy, blah, 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 blah. Kinematic body, string. I don't think so. Export, no, fuck. It's not fun, I'm sorry, but save manager, no, it has nothing to do with that. It's doing save stuff, blah 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 blah. Level manager is extra. Okay. Project setting, Steam I know is not doing anything. And then we have globals in here. That might be coming from globals, right? We'll take a look at it after. That I know it's not doing anything. Audio manager, it's just audio stuff. There's nothing like, no, there's nothing. So that's good. Settings manager, it's just a bunch of settings. It shouldn't be a problem. There's no reference to anything. That's good. Transition has no idea, nothing on enemy and stuff. That's good. Scene switcher. Scene switcher. Yes, that's why. Okay, I know it. I know what is triggering. I think I know what is triggering. Awesome. Yeah. I can tell you what is the plugin, but I don't know the name, I think. It's made by Sora Yuki. But I don't know what is the name. Sora Yuki OBS plugin. Multiple RTMP, sorry. This is the one. If classes are compiled before autoloads objects, you'll have to find another way for sure. No, but look at that. I think my problem is coming from this. I have this script which is basically giving me a bunch of ways to switch from one scene to another, which means we have a reference to the game scene, and the game scene has what? It has the wave manager, and the wave manager has what? The enemies. Right? So, I can tell you one thing. The scene switcher, the fucking scene switcher, is causing our problems. I might be too confident in what I'm saying, but I think this is what is happening. Where is it? Scene switcher. You only load a bunch of stuff, right? So scene switcher, you can be loaded later. You can be loaded way later at the very end, right? It's fine. You can be loaded very late. It's very fine. And now our upgrade manager will be created once we reach the scene switcher. If that is the correct answer, I'm very happy. If it is not, I'm very sad. I hope it's that. Fuck. It was not. It was not. Just to make sure, let's reload just in case something was cached or something. For fuck's sake, it's not that. For fuck's sake, it's not that. I was 95% sure it was coming from that. It could also be something that I don't understand. It could also be something else, but I don't know what. Fuck me. Fuck me. Do you agree that my upgrade tests or whatever, do you agree that my update test or whatever cannot be named the same way, unfortunately? Where is it? Upgrade test. It cannot be named upgrade manager, right? Because it's going to tell me that it clashes with an autoload. Okay. Do you agree that an autoload is basically just something that is added automatically to the root node, right? Godot is doing it for you. So what I could do, I don't like that. But what I could do is let the globals add my upgrade manager to the game. So instead of being an autoload in here, upgrade manager, where is it? Upgrade manager. Instead of being an autoload, it doesn't change a whole lot, right? Instead of being an autoload, it's now a class. It's now a class. It's a scene also. Why is it a scene? Why is it a scene? Because I have some exports? Why do I make it a scene? Oh, because I changed the colors in here. That's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. And so then my globals... Could we have that? Could we just do this? Export var. Upgrade manager scene. Packed scene. Could we just do that? And then when we are ready... When we are ready, we do var instance... upgrade manager. I'm not going to do that because it's going to create a cyclic reference because upgrade manager uses globals. So I'm not going to do that. Instance, I'm going to get the tree, get the root, and add the child upgrade manager. Upgrade manager scene. Instance. The only problem with that is that my upgrade manager is not available globally now. Do you agree? That's the cool thing about autoloads. I can do upgrade manager dot a bunch of stuff, and I use that constantly. And I need to have the autoload ability. Can you register an autoload after the fact? You'd have to do globals upgrade manager. Yes, if I want to keep the reference like that, yes. Is there something like register? No, because autoloads are registered when you have a plugin, right? That's what add-ons are doing usually. If you look at Steam. If you look at the Steam... Which one? Plugin.gd. Autoload singleton, and this is coming from the editor plugin. Right? Add autoload singleton. Yes. So, unfortunately... If I look at Godot autoload, maybe it's going to give me a bunch of information. This is frustrating. I don't want to be doing globals dot thingy. Version 3.x. I don't want that in French. How do I do it? Do I do en? Yes. Introduction. Okay, let's take a look at that really quickly. Maybe that's interesting. Godot system wrapper has a drawback. There is no method for storing information that is needed for more than one scene. You can use a master scene that loads and unloads other scene. However, this means you can no longer run those scenes individually. The singleton pattern is useful, blah, blah, blah. You can create objects that are always loaded, no matter which scene is currently running. Can store global variables. Can handle switching scene. Act like a singleton, since GDScript does not support global variables by design. Autoloading nodes and scripts can give the... Okay. Let's see. Godot won't make an autoload a true singleton as per the singleton design pattern. It may still be instanced for more than once if the user... by the user if desired. If you're creating an autoload as part of an editor plugin, consider it registering blah blah blah. You can create an autoload to load a scene or a script that inherits from node. When an autoloading a script, a node will be created. Scene singleton root scene main loop. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Blah blah blah. Get node blah blah blah. If enable column the singleton can be accessed directly without requiring get node. note that autoload objects are accessed just like any other node in the tree. In fact, if you're looking at a running scene tree, you'll see the autoload appear. Autoload must not be removed using free or queue free at runtime or the engine will crash. Custom scene switcher. Okay. So it's not really telling me anything in terms of when it's being loaded or not. Scripting, core features, overridable function, instance with signals, file system resource pausing, introduction, using scene tree, programming language, GDScript, basics, an introduction, exports, styles, format strings, basics. It's telling me what the thing is, so I don't care. Debug, idle and physics processing, node and scene instance, getting nodes, creating nodes, I don't care. Creating strip templates, evaluate, change scenes, instancing, file system, resources, node and resources. Up to this tutorial, we focused on the node class. There's another type. Resources are data container. But resources are accessed only if it's loaded, right? Loading scene spring resource, creating your own resource, blah blah blah. I know about that. Loading from code, loading scenes. What about having upgrade manager class and then loading the class in the upgrade manager autoload? That way you can still have access via the upgrade manager as you had before. So my upgrade manager autoload is just basically a shell that is then doing the instance for what I really care about. The problem about this is I will still have something that I don't like, because I will still have something like upgrade manager dot upgrader or whatever, that name something dot what I want. It will still add another layer, but because I call a bunch of functions, it's fucking frustrating. It could have been better. It could have been better. Godot could be better, and I think in Godot 4 those things are not a problem anymore, at least not as they were before. I will not have the problem. Creating your own resource, I don't care about that. Freeing resource. Singleton autoload, we read about that, right? Using Sintry. Introduction, okay. Main loop, the way Godot works in there is an OS class, which is the only instance that runs at the beginning after all drivers, server scripting language scenes are loaded. When initializing is complete, OS needs to be supplied a main loop to run. Up to this point, all this internal is working. You can check the main CPP. You're interested. The user program or game discuss a few methods. Scene tree. One of the ways to explain how Godot. I don't care. The scene is provided. Scene tree. Contains a root node, contains information about the groups. It contains the global state functionality such as pause mode or creating the process and stuff. Root viewport, scene tree, tree order, becoming active, changing current scene. Doesn't really tell me anything. Doesn't really tell me anything. It doesn't really tell me anything. My problem in here is that for some reason that I can't explain yet, this is not loaded yet when I need it in my resource. And again, this is probably because for some reason Godot is parsing, even if it's not directly linked. You see, because my upgrade manager, my scene switcher would be running after. The only thing that has a reference to the only thing that has a reference to my enemies, and my enemy has this, but I think it's not how it works. Godot is probably parsing that hitbox that has this upgrade at some point earlier than what I thought. And then it's creating a problem because it's trying to get something that doesn't exist yet. Can you have... If I have a class name inside of here, is it available everywhere or not? In Godot you can create classes, right? Am I crazy? In Godot you can create classes in here. Named class inside of a folder. Godot named classes. But it's because it's not the thing at the beginning. It's not going to work, right? I'm not going to be able to use it everywhere. You see what I mean? Like an inner class. That's what I mean. Inner class, and it would have an enum, inner enum, and I can't access that, I think. Value 1, value 2. I don't care, right? Inner class. Unfortunately, my upgrade is not able to use this. Export upgrade manager. The inner class doesn't exist. It's in here, and the upgrade manager has no... You don't have that. It's a class, so it doesn't exist. You would need to have something else. Okay. Now that we know that, what do we do? What do we do about it? Because it's already 4 p.m. and my goal was not to spend hours on this shit, right? So, what is the simplest solution? I can, if I don't want to modify the code in my game everywhere, I could have a shell. Basically, the upgrade manager, I would have the autoload, which is just a shell, and then the autoload would use a class, and the class would have a bunch of stuff, but we still have the problem that I would need to modify that. Fuck. It's not easy. So I think this doesn't work very well. I think I still want my upgrade manager to be an autoload. And eventually what I can do, for now, I can duplicate that into a class. What would be the best way? What would be the best way for the future? You see what I mean? I still want my thing to be accessible everywhere as a singleton, so having an upgrade manager singleton seems like the easiest solution. But then I don't want to be juggling between the enums and the enums of something and the enums of... Like, it's really stupid. But one thing I can do to fix my problem right now is go into scene, upgrade scene, or no, just upgrades, upgrade tests. I renamed that shit to upgrade enum, upgrade enum, and I have that, and slowly I will start using this. And that might be the least changes that I need to do. One thing that I'm afraid of, if I go into my upgrade, and now I modify that, and instead of using the upgrade manager, I use my new class that I just created, do you think it's going to break everything? Do you think it's going to break everything? I mean by that, all of the categories and targets are going to be modified. for all of my resources, or Godot will be clever enough to not touch it. I think the moment you change a type in here, it's gonna break everything. Right? I think, unfortunately, there's no way around that. But this is what I need to do, right? Fucking stupid. This is really stupid. I don't like that. I don't like that, but let's try. Upgrade manager scene. And in here I'm creating a child, so that I can remove. I don't want to do that anymore. Upgrade managers. First of all, I lost my colors. I lost the colors already. I lost the colors. But I can put them back if I revert. Right? That would be a good thing. That's a good thing. First of all, upgrade doesn't change. Upgrades to check. And my enemy base has this upgrade, and that's why it's not loading anymore. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that. Check upgrade on hitbox. And project manager has no change. This has no change. And then in here we have a new upgrade enum to avoid cyclic references with autoload enum. Okay? And then we try, and maybe we'll have to do some stuff manually. Godot crashed. Godot crashed. Probably because I modified an autoload from elsewhere, right? But I think Godot crashed. Unless I quit Godot? Maybe. I didn't realize. I do that, and I take a quick break, and we work on the boss fight, because it's frustrating to do this shit for nothing. In here, everything is fine. Okay, let's open up. Let's do FBI open up. Upgrade. And in here, we'll go with upgrade enum. Upgrade enum, upgrade enum. And now, I'm very afraid. If I look at my resources... Oh, it works. It didn't do anything. Amazing. And now if I launch... I don't have any problem anymore. It works, right? So, lesson learned in Godot, lesson learned for Godot 3. And I knew it was going to be a problem, right? Because I had some problems in the past with autoloads and enums, and global enums, basically. If you want global enums, you create a class. It's just the easiest way. You create a class. Now that we have that, we can do add upgrade. The name of my upgrade is what? The name of my upgrade is what? It is dash... No, it is push. Push damage or something, right? It is push damage. Yes. So we launch that. Add upgrade push damage. 1. I don't remember in what order I should put it. I don't remember in what order I should put it. Add ability STR. Add upgrade STR. Okay. So it's the opposite. It's 1. So it's 0. So now I have the upgrade. So theoretically, it's doing more damage. So now what I need to do, I will push... Yes, perfect. Theoretically, instead of doing 1 damage, it's going to do 2 damage, right? And now there's a problem. If pushable, And pushable pushed by is null. Why would pushable pushed by be null? Isn't Groupon base null? Right? It means that this is null. Pushable and the pushed by is null. What do you mean? Oh! Because we need to do the damage check on the one that is being pushed. Right? We need to do that only if pushable and pushable knockbacking is that how it's called? It's a bit stupid. I know. But don't judge me, okay? Don't judge me. Knockbacking, yes. Let's go. Yes, you can support me on Coffee if you want. Supporting me on Coffee will go directly towards buying a wonderful playdate. That's it. Okay, cool. So I avoid that. I kill this one just to be safe. I go in here and then I do that. And it didn't do enough damage. There was a problem. I'm pretty sure there was a problem. Error calling method sliced because the playground is missing the thing. Yes. On hitbox area entered. Am I stupid? And am I putting this in the wrong spot? No. Right? So theoretically, this is only the right thing. Let's check. There's something weird. There's something weird with this enemy. Also, let's look at pushable. Let's look at when you're being knockbacked. And let's see what is happening. Maybe this pushed by for some reason is not correct. Okay, let's go. So in here we do that, and we spawn a bunch of enemy lasers. I'm using enemy lasers because they're not moving, which is very handy. Right? Push that. Okay, give me a second. I'm doing something. I'm pushing this in here. Okay. And then I'm doing that. So knockback, boop, boop, boop. Pushed by is not null, right? Pushed by is not null. You have something. Boom, you do damage. You arrive in here. You are in the hitbox. You grab the target. The target is the enemy laser. The enemy laser has the meta pushable. So you grab the pushable and you look at this pushable and you're like, hey, pushable, you are knockbacking or what? And you're not. What? Why are you not? The parent is enemy laser 12. Enemy laser 12 is color 1. Right? Type 2. Am I stupid? Oh my god. Yes, I'm using the wrong target. Sorry guys, this is why. Everything is broken, because using this target in here, is not what I wanted to do. So of course it doesn't work. For fuck's sake. Because in here, I'm getting the target to which I want to deal damage. The target for the damage, not the target that I thought it would be. Curious if you've ported any games to the Switch. I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it for Dashpong. My Switch is in the background, and I'm doing it at the moment. Specifically right now, I'm preparing for the lot check, which means that I'm filling in a bunch of informations. It's not super fun. I had to describe precisely what exactly I wanted them to test and how they should be testing it, etc., etc. I'm not very familiar with the process, so it's a bit slow. Hopefully I will be able to do it before the end of February. Yes, but yeah. Before the end of January, sorry. And so we already have a target in here. That's why. So the target that I'm thinking about in here, this is the... I'm going to call it the damage target, because I'm overshadowing the thing. In fact, I'm overshadowing the thing completely. So in here, that is good, right? And we don't have another target. And so the target that I have in here is not the same target now. The target that I'm checking in here is the target of my my thing. So now it's going to work, I think. Nice. Yeah. It's not fun though. It's not super fun. Thankfully, no, not thankfully. Hopefully next time it's going to be easier. But right now it's not super fun. So that I know works. And so then in here, if pushable, and if I look at my pushable, it's the correct pushable now. And the correct pushable is knockbacking, and it has a pushed by. So then we can go in here and say, hey, I want the ID of that. So the ID is 0, it's me. And then I can check for the player upgrade. I go through the player upgrade. It is null. It is null? Why is it null? Hey, I made a mistake in here, no? Push damage description. The name is push damage. Ooh. What? I got to the NDA stage and bailed, lol. The fact that they can come and audit everything, I'd have to get them to sign a bunch of NDAs just to look at my space. The fact that they can come and audit everything, what do you mean? What do you mean? To be honest, I went a bit fast with the NDA stuff. You could violate the NDA just by talking about the NDA. Yeah, you can do that. Oh, it's because I did charge ulti, I didn't add the specific thing, right? Yes, I'm fucking stupid. I want to do add upgrade 0 dash add upgrade 0 dash, what is the name? The name is push damage. And now I have the thing. Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm stupid. I will kill this one, that way I'm safe. And then I will do that. Okay, and in here we have that. PID is 0. Player upgrade. We have the upgrade, so that's good. So now we do this, we do this, we do this. If we look at the player upgrade, oh my god, it works. Player upgrade is 1, so total damage is now 2. It works! It works! We only lost, like, I don't know, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, just because of that fucking autoload stuff that is stupid. Fucking hell. And so my meta pushable stuff in here, it probably works too, right? I can probably do that without having a stupid cyclic reference bullshit stuff. Do you agree? So if I go in here and I use the old way of doing things, which is I get the meta as a pushable. Pushable already defined. Yes. Target as pushable. Okay, so now I go back to my gem orbs and my block. and I add the stuff. So I go on my hitbox enemy. I say, hey, I want a size of 1. I want an object. I go to here, quick load, and I want push damage dot tres. Let's go. Push damage. Boop, boop, boop. Push damage. Boop, boop, boop. Push damage. I'm happy. I'm happy about that. Boop in here. Push damage. Push damage. Upgrade push damage. Let's go. And now it works. That's stuff I wouldn't worry about too much about. Yeah, have a safe place to lock up the kit and related stuff, and you're fine. Lock up the kit. Do you think my kit is locked up? I haven't signed anything. And it's kind of a regular thing. Basically, if they suspect you're showing off the kit in public, they can come around and you'd have to show them. Okay, yeah, I see. Yeah, and also, I guess all of that is also a good way to, like, create fear. So you don't do stupid stuff, right? Most of the legal stuff is also making sure in advance that you might not even try to do something because you're afraid of it, right? At upgrade 0, at upgrade 0, and my name is push damage. Yeah, I forgot. This is very, very frustrating. And I do this, and it does that. That's perfect, guys. That's very perfect. I'm happy. Really happy. And it did two damages. That's amazing. Look at that. Woohoo! For some reason, I can't collide, but it's okay. Yep, right. Okay, perfect. Fuck, we finally finished that. Switch to upgrade enum class for upgrades and implement more damage during push upgrade. Fuck. Finally. And so this week, on top of finishing the co-op and doing a bunch of other stuff, I also created 4 upgrades. Sometimes creating upgrades is really fast. Like, for some upgrades, it's very, very easy. I will put a note on what I did, just to have a track. The meta tag, the metadata that I'm using on to pass data between elements and stuff, it is such a cool feature, and I'm afraid that not enough people are aware of it, right? It's such a cool way of passing data between elements without having to have a variable, and it seems like a small thing, but it's actually huge. I use it, it's really comfortable. Yeah. I think I can think of 2 ways where it's really, really valuable. One, when you have components and you want the components to make sure that the components can talk to themselves, can arrange themselves without having the node to be the glue, right? Which means you don't have to create specific code for them to work together. Like the hitbox could look, do you have a push component? Do you have a health component? Etc, etc. The second very cool thing, you can create a generic spawner, and instead of making sure that the object that you're spawning has to have the variable that you want, you can just pass the data that you want to pass in a dictionary and put it in the metadata. That way, if you don't have the code necessary in your spawn scene to receive that data, you're just not going to do anything about it. But then if you want to use it, you just have to check. Do I have the metadata that I want? And if yes, I'm looking for a specific key in that dictionary. Do I have it, etc. I'd love to get something on their store though, sometimes in the future, hopefully. Maybe you need to get some help. Maybe you need to work with a publisher for that. If you don't want to do it yourself, or if you don't want to deal with all of the admin stuff. To be honest, right now I'm doing it myself because my games are not making enough money for me to justify paying someone. But I can totally see myself not doing it. If my games are successful, if my future games are successful, I'm probably not going to do it myself. I don't see the point, right? Right now, I see it as two things. One, a good exercise. I like knowing how it works and knowing what is required and stuff. I think it's a good thing as an indie to be able to understand what are the steps and etc. And second, it's because it's free for me. I can do it for free. The port is free. I just had to pay for the Switch, which of course is something, but that's okay, right? I can't justify spending thousands of euros for someone to do it, or I can't justify someone taking like 70% of my revenue to recoup their cost for porting. So I think it's the best of both. It's the best thing I could do right now. And I'm happy with this situation. It's just that it takes time and it's not super fun. I need to do a quick break and I come back in like 4 minutes, okay? Enjoy the break, enjoy the clips. See you very soon. What if we take a look at the showroom? Let's see how it looks. It looks like shit. It's not crunch. It's not crunch if you're having a good time. Okay, so there's no music, so I will do the music myself. Are you ready? Let's go. What the fuck? What the fuck? Why is it only visual stuff? It's not working. We have a problem. Okay, let's stop everything. You think like it is a fart. It is a fart, yes. It is a fart. Sometimes it's nice and you're surprised and it's actually a nice and punchy one. And sometimes it's actually a shart and it's not pleasing at all. This is AI. You're right. AI is a fart. Emitting is equal to true, okay? Emitting is equal to fucking true. You fucking what, mate? You fucking what? I want to... I need to calm down. I need to calm the fuck down. Okay. That was quite an amazing goal. That was quite an amazing goal. Let me clip that. This was super cool. I see what's happening. It's because the boss is moving. Let's go. I think I'm better now. I think my score should be better on this one. 18 seconds. Let's go. Oh yeah. Ooh, yeah. Oh, oh, wow, 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 wow. Wow. Can you fucking shut up? Can you fucking shut up? Oh yeah, look at that! Look at that! The collision shapes. They are huge! They are huge! Huge! So to kill them, but you're supposed to protect them. So you're supposed to do that. Let me show you. You're supposed to do, oh no, they're going to be killed. No. So it should be 0 right there. 0 died. Okay, cool. 0 died. You know what? I will add some messages because I don't want people to feel, oh, this is a good test. 3 died, only those ones. Okay, perfect. And 3 died, only... Okay, perfect. It's working now. So I think I will add some messages on top of the number of people that died. So for example, if you have... Some games do better on console versus PC too. Yeah. I think my first game, Dash Pong, is well suited for the Switch. And the Switch too. I think it's well suited. It's like exactly the type of game you expect on a console like that. But also, I know that having visibility on the Switch is much more difficult. Like, the store is filled with shit, and you don't have the same algorithm or anything, and so I don't know how successful it can be, right? I think it has some potential, but I don't know how successful it can be because of many things that I don't really have control on. So we'll see. Hopefully it won't be too bad. Okay, we finally work on that stupid boss. Before we do that, I need to check something really quick. I'm wondering if my ping worked on Hyperslice. I hope so. Anyway, so we have our boss. Last time we did a bunch of stuff on the boss. We did a bunch of stuff on the boss. It switches from the different, like from the voids to the missiles and stuff. But I'm not exactly sure how good it is. And I'm wondering if I should, theoretically I should work a bit more on the actual boss right now. the movement and stuff, but I'm wondering if I'm not going to do a bit of visuals just to get motivated by the thing, because it's not motivating me right now. It's not, and I need to record that. So let me go into record mode. See you in 2 seconds. Okay, perfect. This is just what I wanted to have before we start doing some modifications. The first thing might be creating a circle. And I have some code somewhere to create a circle, right? That's what I do with the circles. Compute polygon. Yes. That's what I do. So right now, what is it? Do I have a sprite? Okay. Let's create a function called compute polygons in here. It's gonna return the points, and then I can use them. So on the in the ready function, I can do var points, which are pool vector 2 arrays, and I can compute the polygons with some variables that I will put somewhere in here. These are the target, threshold, and stuff. Export var, radius, float, I don't know, 100, export var, points, number, int, I want a high count, I think, and theoretically on set, I can call set radius. How do you do that? I forgot. Do you need to do set get? Yes, you need to do set get, and the function is not defined. And then you set points number. Peacebreaker, personne ne parle plus aujourd'hui, est-ce que tu deviens trop français? Les gens perdent l'intérêt. Ne t'inquiète pas, l'américain est là pour ajouter de l'intrigue. It's just because we are very serious today. Today we don't joke. Today we don't joke around, we just create stuff. Set radius, new radius, it's a float. We do a bunch of stuff, and then we have func set points number, and new points number is equal to new points, and in here new radius, and we put radius, and in here we can do compute. We can do compute polygon with the radius, the points number, and what else do we need for that compute polygon? That's it. we compute the polygon, it returns us set points number. What is the problem? New points int. And in here, you do it with the radius and with the new points and the points number. Right? So that's good. That's good. We do it in the ready function, so we don't do it in here, right? So in here, what I can do is if is inside tree, return. If I'm not inside of the tree, I return. Same thing for that. If I'm not inside the tree, I return. Otherwise, I compute the polygons. I grab the points in here the same way I'm grabbing them in here. I'm grabbing that. And then I'm grabbing directly polygon 2D points. It's polygon, sorry. Polygon, I can pass the points. And the line 2D that I have in here, which is under the sprite, I can tell it to have the points, the points. I need to close it. So close the line by doing line 2D. By doing line 2D, append point or add point. I want to add a point, which is going to be line 2D get point position, and I want the first one, and that's good. I could call a function that does it automatically instead of doing it twice in here. I could do that. Maybe I will do it. Maybe I do it right now. Func set what? Set boss polygon. I pass some points. And I return nothing. And I do that in here. And in here I can do set boss polygon, and I pass the points, and I can do it in here too. And I can grab that and put it in this. Well, I'm only here in spirit. I need to work, then pack for a flight tonight. So you're off the hook today. Okay. Where are you leaving? Leaving to better places. But what better places? This could have been directly on the sprite itself, right? So in here, it's not going to do anything because, first of all, I forgot to be... Okay, I need a bunch of things. Give me a second. I need a bunch of things because if OS, no, engine is editor hint, is that an engine? I forgot. Yes, I want to return. I don't want to do a bunch of stuff, right? If I switch state. Maybe even in here. I don't do anything. And so I can make it a tool script. Going home to DC to visit my grandmother. Okay. Cool stuff. So you see, this is the boss. I can change the radius now, 130. And I can decide how many points I want, so I can turn it into a triangle if I want. I can turn it into a nice little square if I want, which honestly could be cool. Like, the boss could You could animate the boss just by doing. You could start at 2 points. It's a line, and you could animate it. You could make the boss do that and become a circle or something. That's pretty cool. That could be an appearance. It could do like, I don't know, maybe not, but that's cool, right? You get the point. You get the point. Now we need to enable. We need to modify all of the shapes. Theoretically, right? But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it once because I know what shape it should be. So I'm doing that to collide. The hitbox is inside. We will turn it into a circle shape that is like, it hits you if you are here. There's no hitbox in reality. There's no hitbox, and the hitbox should be bigger to make it easier. So circle shape. The hitbox should be at least like that. The hitbox force field is right there, and the force field is right there. So that is good, right? That is good. So that's the first thing I wanted to do. And then of course I can get creative with the way I want to do some stuff with my boss visually. I think what I will also do is I will make the entire arena more interesting, because right now it's like this stuff. And I don't like, and I think the background will not be that, because this is the background for the upgrade scene. It doesn't really make any sense if it's that background, I think. I don't think it makes sense. So it's probably not going to be that. But I need to think about it. And for the boss itself, I was thinking of having like half circles to create something interesting inside of it, to show you also what state you are in. Not sure yet. I need to modify the shield also. I don't like the shield. And the death animation. The death animation could be triangulation of the boss, and then the boss explodes into pieces. I think it's something I would enjoy. Right? But yeah, what I want, maybe I draw half a circle, that way I can use it and start seeing if it looks good or not. Maybe I do that. That I need to put somewhere else. Hyperslice assets. So let's draw explosion orb. We simply want half a circle. We simply want half a circle. It would have been nice to have a perfect value like that. Control Shift S, PNG, I want this selection only. Yes. Hyperhue, scene. Bosses, boss push. And in here, visuals. Half circle. Just to check how it looks. Half circle. Oh my god, it's huge. Whoop. Okay, what we need is the offset to be 249, but the offset is what? The offset works if you don't transform it, right? Minus 249 divided by 2 to be in here. But then if you scale it, no, it's okay, it scales at the right spot. So then you could put that at the very center and have something like that. The lines could be on top. That could be half circle. And that way you can have something that is animated like that, you see? So you can start with having 2 half circles and to show, for example, that the thing is full. You can play with the transform, you can do... And what I think we should do to make it even better is, usually what I do personally is you can use a marker, for example. Position 2D, so position 2D. You put it in the center. This is like your anchor point. You make those two a child of that, so now you can animate easily the thing. Now, of course, it doesn't look like anything because it's full. But you can also easily play with the animate. So you animate the anchor, right? That way you start at scale of 1, it's much easier. Instead of having to animate specifically that. Then you can hide one. You see, it could be something like that. I'm thinking it could be something like that. So maybe it starts full. Maybe it starts full, then there's only one, and you can see that it's actually rotating like that, which is pretty cool. Then, is it completely empty, or is it just, like, reduced? I don't know. But it gives us the ability to do some stuff. Right? And I think this can be cool. I would animate the anchor itself, right? So modulate would be red, could be a darker red, could be black, could be, I don't know. Maybe a darker black is good. And so, also to make the boss more interesting, I think I could play around with the lines. I don't know how fast it would be, I don't know if it's a good idea or not, but theoretically what I can do is animate the lines like that, you see? And the cool thing is that you might not enjoy that jagged look, right? You might think, it's not going to look good, but I think that's what I want. I want my boss to not be perfect. At least maybe phase 1, it is perfect, and the more damage you do, the more the points like that gets slightly offsetted. Now, I have one problem, and it is that I don't know how to modify that easily. You see what I mean? I think we will use noise. I think I know, in fact. I think I have an idea. We need to calculate the normal, and the normal can basically be the position of our point compared to the center, and this basically gives us a normal, you see? You calculate something like that, and then you have that. This tells you in which direction you should offset your point. At least you have the normal, right? So if you offset towards the normal, then your point looks like this. Perfect. It's like a spike. But then what you can also do is slightly angle your normal, and then your point will look something like this. That's pretty cool, right? Should we do that? Should we work on that? I think that would be nice. This is the health, right? Could we have a way to integrate the health inside of the boss itself? Maybe. What about having a like a circle, a bunch of circles? Because having the health on top of the boss like that, like really, it feels very video gamey, which might not be a problem, to be honest. It might be okay as a start, but it's also not incredible. And these debug targets, I will hide it for now, because, yeah, we don't care. But this anchor would start like that. This might be the moment to have a shader also on there. I think I might have some shaders that are already interesting. Chromatic aberration, no. Portal, no. Scrolling, shockwave spiral, vortex. Vortex? Vortex? Invert, it doesn't do anything. Yes, I'm stupid, I put it in the anchor. Fuck me. Oh yeah, but the half circles are not seen. It's not going to work the way I want, right? Vortex doesn't really work. I have some stuff. Rainbow scroll, shield, 3D perspective, blur, burn, chromatic aberration, glitch, hit, plasma. What is plasma? Doesn't work. Quick load. Portal, radial blur, scrolling, shockwave spiral. Spiral! Nothing works. It's too big. The resolution should be changed and stuff to match. We'll find something. We'll find something. We'll find something, right? And I think what we are going to do is also probably... well, I don't know. But I want to create that, so let me do something. Let me do export var, give me a second, I need to open to the cat. Export var. Let's call it glitchiness float. It starts at 0, and we do a set glitchiness. I think I'm going to like that. Func set glitchiness new G. I'm too lazy to write it in full. So glitchiness is equal to new G, and then you create something like compute glitchiness, and you pass the new G. You need to pass some points, I guess. You need to pass some points, and so for that we are going to do if not is inside tree. We return. We do the same thing. Otherwise, we do... I'm gonna make my life easier for now. Polygon. We grab the polygon points, and we pass the new G. Okay, and it computes basically new points, which are pool vector to arrays, and we can set the boss polygons with those new points. Okay, now the problem is that there's no function like that, so we are going to do it, and we are going to do it just below this function. So func compute, in here we want some points, which are pool vector to arrays, and we want the glitch value, which is a float. And in here we're going to do a bunch of stuff. I'm going to probably do like for I in range points dot size pass, and I'm going to compute some stuff. So let's think about what we need to compute. Compute normal from center of points to point. Rotate a bit the point. This is something that we could pass to the function, right? It's something that we could control. Rotate a bit the normal. Rotate slightly. Rotate slightly randomly the normal. Adjust the point using that normal. This is what we want to do. And at the end, we want to return the new points. Right, and so in here, the new points are pool vector 2 arrays. It looks like what? New? No, it's a built-in stuff from array. So it's empty, right? We don't have to do anything. The assign value type doesn't, yeah, because I'm not returning what I should be returning. In here, I'm returning that. Okay, that seems not too hard. It would be cool to be able to use noise also, because noise would create some sort of how can you call that? var glitch noise, some sort of coherence. It's a stream texture, right? It would create some sort of coherence. New stream texture. It's not a stream texture, sorry. It's a noise texture. New noise texture. The width should be the width of our points, right? Approximately. I don't think it has to be. Can it be a height of 1? Is that something that works? It should work, right? It might be hard to look at it though. So maybe at first we look at it like that. That way we can play around with the period. Is it going to update? Seamless would be good if it's seamless. We don't really see it. Do you agree about that? That it's shit? Let's put it on a sprite. Let's put it on a sprite and let's see. Noise. Paste. Perfect. Let's put it right there. Okay, let's see at the noise. Let's look at the noise and let's see what we want. So I think we want a noise that has a bunch of variation, but not necessarily too much. The period should be quite high if we want those variations to be visible. Persistence is what? Okay. Bumpy. Lacunarity. Okay, we are only going to use something like that, right? Like a line. So we need a bunch of variants in that line. We need the thing to be bumpy. And I think it could become 1 again. 1 pixel. It's shared, right? So the thing that I put in here is now the same. 435,079 or 75,079. Oh, okay, this is good. And so we can use the noise, right? We can use the noise. Should we pass the noise value? Glitch noise. Should we pass the noise value? When we set the glitchiness, we set the boss polygon to that. Compute the glitchiness. I think I'm passing the noise. So compute the glitchiness. In here, I have noise text, which is going to be a noise texture. How do I sample the noise? Do I need a noise texture? Do I necessarily need a noise texture? Not really, right? Not really. Because if you look at Open Simplex noise, if you look at Open Simplex noise, I can just do that. I can get noise 2D, right? This resource allows you to configure and sample a fractal noise space. Here's a brief thingy. Get noise 1D at the given x coordinate. This method actually returns the 2D value with fixed y coordinate value 0. That's perfect. That's exactly what I want. So what I can do, in fact, I can just change my glitch noise in here to be Open Simplex noise, right? And I can still use that to, like, this is like my debug noise, and I can grab that Open Simplex. But the seamless aspect is in here. Okay, we need to think about that though. And in here, on my boss, for some reason, compute glitchiness, set glitchiness, glitch noise, it wants Open Simplex noise. That's good. And in here we can paste that. Very cool. Very cool, very cool. Okay, so I think now we can do it. Now we can definitely go and do it. Set the glitchiness, and the compute glitchiness is in here. Okay. Computing the normal from the center to the point. The problem is that the points are local. Do you agree about that? The points are local. Let me think. Let me think. We can assume that it's coming from 0, 0. We can assume that. So the point represents the normal already. You see what I mean? Why is it not drawn? Why is it not drawn? 130. Why is it not drawn? What? Oh, because it doesn't. Ah, la, 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 la. Sorry. What we can do right now is we can say, yeah, it doesn't show, but because I have compute glitchiness returning nothing, so my boss doesn't show. But basically, my points are here, and we are centered at 0, and we know that, and the points are local, so we can assume. Basically, what I mean is that all of the points that we have around the circle are already the normal, basically, right? So if I'm correct, let me check something. If I'm correct, we can do something in here. Compute the normal from the center points to the thing. Let's put the pass in here. The polygon is centered at 0, so the point is already the normal. So what I can do in here, this is what I need to do later. Test to see if it works the way I expect. So what I can do in here is, for each point, I can check if the point is modulo 2 is equal to 0. If that is the case, I want to make it bigger. So I want to do... I'm grabbing the points, first of all. I'm grabbing the points. Else, I'm just adding the points. So I'm just doing append points of I. And in here, I'm doing new points, append let's do var deformed point vector 2 its point, and then I want to do deformed point plus equal the deformed point normalized, and I want to make its length twice as big. No, not twice as big. I want the normalization multiplied by the deformed points length multiplied by I'm adding that by 0.5, right? So in here I'm adding, what I can do is if rend f is superior to 0.5, I'm adding, else it's a dirty thing, but what I'm hoping to achieve with that is to have jagged edges. I don't even need to do it if it's only I could just do that. I don't even need that, in fact. I could remove this entirely and do my check in one way and in another. It's not random that I want, in fact. I want to do I modulo 2 is equal to 0, right? And then I add this deformed point and I return those points. So what I'm hoping to have with this is points that are doing spikes, basically. I want to have spikes because theoretically what I'm doing is I'm grabbing the point, the value, and I'm adding to that, I'm adding the point normalized, so I only get the direction. I'm adding to it, and in here I need to remove from it, sorry. I'm adding to it the points normalized, so the direction, multiplied by the length of the normal point. So theoretically, I'm just adding the entire value, or removing the entire value, multiplied by 0.5, so I only take half of it. That might be big. I might take 0.25 to make it less jarring. And so now, theoretically, I have this. Why exactly? Oh. The glitchiness, the problem with the glitchiness right now is that it's taking the value that we have. You see what I mean? So it's breaking everything because it's not doing how I think it should be doing it. So 130 is my circle, and then I set the glitchiness, and it does what I think it should do. That works. That's good. That's very good. The problem is that the glitchiness is applied on what is the current value. So the glitchiness is constantly applied on itself. So if I modify the glitchiness again, it's applying that on top of itself. But my logic is correct, which I like. So when I compute the glitchiness, in fact, what I want is not to have that. It's not to have that. It's to do this. I want to do that. I want to have the points, and I want to pass the points, and I compute the glitchiness. And when I compute the glitchiness, in here, I pass the glitch value, theoretically. I pass how much I want that to glitch, right? So now I'm going to do something else. I'm going to say, if it's that, I deform it. Otherwise, I simply append the new points. I simply append the new points. So I simply append my points.i. And in here, I do new point thingy. That way I do it less often. Okay, cool. So now look at it. Now if I modify the glitchiness, you can see I basically define... My glitchiness should go only from 0 to 1, but there's no way to tell that, right? So you see 0, it's perfect circle, and as I go towards 1... Ah, the clipping. The way Godot calculates the line is not what I expect. The capping is sharp. Bevel. But this is the capping, I don't care about that. This is the border. Sharp limit. This doesn't change anything. I can put the sharp limit to be much higher if I want to keep the sharp aspect. Ah, interesting. And I can anti-alias it. Okay. That's pretty cool, right? So now it's doing what I think it should do. And I can modify how much glitchiness I want. And of course, if I go to 1, there is one problem, and it's in here, where it's doing the junction. It's not correct. I have no idea what to do with this. But already it looks cool, right? I could make some enemies with that. Already it looks cool. So that is the test. That is like the test stuff. So the test stuff is not super interesting. Now what we could do is do exactly this. So grab a deformed points. We grab the point. We modify it. Rotate slightly to randomly the normal. So we can add, hey Mike, how are you doing? In here we can adjust the point using that normal. Rotate slightly the normal. Yeah, let's do it in multiple steps. Let's do var normal, which is a vector 2, and let's use that. This is the normal basically. Right? So in here I can rotate the normal if I want. Adjust the point using that normal and noise value. So in here you will be adding the normal and what should be the strength. This depends on the glitch value, and this depends on that noise texture in here. So noise text, which is not noise texture, it's a noise now. It's just a noise. And we want get noise 1D at Y coordinate. Y coordinate. Get noise 1D at 1 coordinate. This is going to be between 0 and 1, right? This is going to be between 0 and 1. So somewhere we theoretically need something like export var glitch amplitude or max amplitude or amplitude max. I now say amplitude max. How's the work, Mike? How are you doing? Amplitude max, and it's a float. How big should be the amplitude? It depends. Let's say 10, for example, right now. Let's say 10. Compute glitchiness, glitch value. We would do that 10. And what we can do is have a set. We can have a set get set glitch amplitude max func set glitch amplitude max new max float, which is doing glitch amplitude max, we put the new max, and then if we are not inside tree, we return. Otherwise, we call that. And the glitch is the glitchiness. Basically, we can also use that in here, glitchiness. Same, still no credentials. Seriously? And while I don't have them, they want me at the other city. So next week will be 4 weeks straight. Oh my god. Frustrating, right? Frustrating. Okay, there is something that doesn't work. Out of bound. Line 2D, I is out of bind. Out of bound, sorry. Why is it out of bound? Point size is 0. What? Compute polygon? You compute a polygon? Then you compute the glitchiness with the glitch noise and stuff. What the fuck is happening? Let's reopen it just in case, you know, sometimes when it's like that, it doesn't work. Tween target, we don't care. Let's clear this. So what is happening? Glitchiness 0.2. Index I is equal to 0 is out of bound. But why? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? In here? Is that the problem? Oh yeah, this is why. This is why. This is why. New points append deformed points. I'm stupid. Okay. And now, if I do glitchiness, oh my god, look at that. Oh my god, look at that. How beautiful is this? So theoretically, my glitchiness can go up to 1. There is a problem at the seam in here. We'll figure it out. Don't worry. Don't worry. Are you worrying? You should not. At least it's 260 extra a week. Because you have to go there. So drift day as soon as it stops raining. Amazing. And then look at that. I can modify the amplitude. Wow. That's freaking cool. That is freaking cool. That is freaking cool. That is freaking cool. That is freaking cool. And then, of course, I can modify in here that, but that doesn't react to it, because we would need this to react. More octaves to make it more jagged. Less octave to make it less jagged. This is freaking cool. This is exactly what I want. This is exactly what I want. And so I can use my target noise in here. I can use my target noise in here, and I can use a height of 128 to see what it looks like. And I can use a smaller period. More persistence creates more small stuff, and lacunarity. If I use a high lacunarity, it creates more jagged edges. The only problem is that it doesn't update. It doesn't update, but it's okay. I can just modify the amplitude in here. Fucking cool. Fucking cool. Okay. So, yeah. For food and stuff, they pay the hotel directly. Wow. Nice. Nice. And we can go back to a glitchiness of 0. We can do that. We can use that to. I don't know how efficient it is though. I'm recalculating 100 points For a computer, it's nothing. It's just that I'm moving those points, so I don't know. But you see, you can make it glitch using that. I think I like this. Blah. This is very cool. This is a very cool effect. This is exactly what I wanted. And now what I need is to make sure that the last point is the same as the first point. So we need a special case in here. If I is equal to point size -1, last point should be equal to the first point to have no seam. In this case, if you are the last point, you want... No, it's not here that I should do something. Or we can actually, you know what? We can do new points, append, and we get the points 0, and we return. Is that better? And we return, and we return, and we return. We continue in here, sorry. We continue. We continue. Parser error, shut up. And now we have something that is seamless. Tell me it's seamless now. Glitchiness. It is not exactly seamless, but you don't really see it because it's all jagged and stuff, so it's fine. Wouldn't branch just reduce the loop range by 1 and set the last one manually? Wouldn't branch just reduce the loop range by 1 and set the last one? You're right, Smax. I could definitely do that. You're right. I could do that. Is there any way to force that to be between 0 and 1? I don't think in Godot 3 you can do that, right? Is there an export? No, you can't do... You can do range, right? There's nothing you can do to limit something to a range. I mean, there must be, because in Godot... There must be, because in the particles... In the particles you have ranges, right? Godot 3 export range. I automated some JSON parsing for our team, and I used Godot to give it a UI, but the company Windows policy doesn't allow to bypass the Windows Defender warning, so I had to port it to command Python. This is so stupid. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, yeah. To export a range in Godot 3, it's slightly weird, but you need to do something like that. Export float. And you can say 0, 1, and you can say how much it should move. Is that right? Yes, let's go. Perfect. And now I can go between that. Yeah, I don't like this way of writing stuff, but hey, it works, so okay. Order a code certificate on a company money. They don't have one anyway. Code signing, yeah. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? I'm pretty happy. So now, my thought... I'm using that for the boss, but realistically, this is not really what I want to do. I mean, it's not only what I want to do. I don't want to use that solely on the boss. I want to use it also on other things. You can see that there is a sim, right? You can see it. I think I know why. I think I know why we can see. And it's because having the same point is not enough. Uh, 96. But it's at the wrong spot. And 97 is in here. Yeah, okay. I know why it doesn't work. It doesn't work because you can see. So basically we need 2 overlaps. We need 2 overlaps. We need 2 overlaps. That way we have the line correctly. But that's okay, that's okay. That's okay. We can do this. We can do as Smax suggested and just do last point should be equal to the first one to have no seam, and add another point for the line to be the same. It's not explained correctly, but it works. So basically you want that. You see the problem? You see the problem? You have a bunch of lines like that. You have your last point. So by default, the line in Godot does this. First of all, by default, there's no connection. The problem is that the line has a thickness like this. Okay? It has a thickness. If you just connect it like this, if you just connect it, it will keep the orientation of the previous point. So it will look something like this, right? You will have a gap in here. So by just adding another point, it should be hidden inside. You detected you were at the last point, but instead of setting it to the first point, you only appended a new one. You're right, I think. You're right, I think. I made a mistake in what I did. But I've misread the part about adding you to iteration. No, I was wrong. No, you were... Yeah, maybe... Yeah, because I was appending each time. I was recreating a new array. So I was right. Yeah. Exactly. I'm not modifying point, I'm creating a new array. I'm not modifying them directly. Yeah, exactly. So now my thing should be perfect. Because... not really. Why? Why is it not really the case? My 96 point... Oh, I'm stupid. This is not the way I can do it. I need my points because I'm creating a circle. My computation creates a circle no matter the amount of points. So that's why I was adding it inside and not outside, because I need it in here. So if my I is equal to points size if it's the last one, I connect it, right? Am I correct? I connect it. But because it's close to... But I still want to have another one, and this one I want to add it on top. The last one connects to the first one, that is correct. But then I also want another one at the end on top of it. Just modify the I in line 980. Yes, I could. Yes, I could. But that's not what I want. It works the same. It works the same. I thought that too, but most of the automation live on a network folder somewhere, their Python script, they probably wouldn't want a 50 megs executable if 1 megabyte Python does the same. That's kind of true. You're kind of right. I still have a problem, and what is my logic? I'm struggling. Ah, it's still not good. What the fuck am I doing? I'm adding so many points. How many points do I want? I want 96 points, so why am I adding so many points? Why am I adding so many points? What the fuck? 99. Why? Why am I adding so many points? Am I crazy? The fuck am I doing? The fuck am I doing? The fuck am I doing? Okay, let's remove that. This is what I had earlier, right? This is what I had earlier. And the problem with this... What? Hey, this is not what I want. Yeah, because I forgot my continue, that's why. For fuck's sake. So now what I have is that the last point, which is... Why am I adding a point? Why am I adding a point? We arrive at 1 at points, and I'm adding a point, and I continue. Am I stupid? You just add the row point. What do you mean? Not deforming it according to rules. No, it's okay, because I want the last point. This is adding the last point. Am I crazy? I want the last point to be exactly the same as the first point. First of all, it's adding another point. 96. It's adding a 97th point. This is not what I want. I'm looking at point size -1 because it's the right spot, right? It's range stops just before. You should break since you were at the end. But even continuing wouldn't do anything, right? Continuing wouldn't do anything. I can break, but continuing wouldn't do it. Wouldn't do anything. Unless I'm mistaken. No, it's adding another point. What the fuck? It shouldn't, but you have to use new point 0 in 190. No. No. No, I don't agree. I don't agree. Yes, I do agree. Sorry. I'm stupid. You're right. Yes. I want to use the new points. Yes, I thought you meant in here. I need to use the new points that I calculated. That is okay. But I still... Okay, so now we have our 96th point, which is too far, which is good. It is good. It is good. This is what we want. And so now what I do is at the very end, I add new points. That's why. It's because I was using the wrong point. And now we have perfect continuity because we have an overlap. Let's fucking go. Amazing. You see? We have continuity because we have an overlap. Perfect. Might want 1 to the left, -1, 2. You might want 1 to the left, -1, 2. But I'm hiding it because I'm adding another one on top of it. We don't see the. I understand, but that's why I'm adding one at the end to go on top of it. Yeah, exactly. That should be fine. You don't need both. You need at least one of them. That way you have some overlap and the right direction. Yeah, and that's what we have in here. The only thing is that it might create a bigger bump in here. It might create a bigger bump because we don't know what is the direction, and so it could look a bit weird, maybe. Honestly, it's okay. Yeah, honestly, it's very fine. Especially with the kind of behavior that I want. I think it's totally fine. Honestly, that's perfect. Would you look at that? This is amazing. This is amazing. It should definitely be not on the boss itself, but on the sprite, because it's stupid to have the logic in here. One thing I want to do is in here I could define another export, which would be glitch. How would you call it? How would you call it? I want to say, how many points do you want to affect? Like, do you want to affect all of the points? Do you want to affect one out of two? You see what I mean? Toasted Gears, are you using Godot 3.6? I am. Glitch. Glitch points effect. I have no idea how to say it right now. It's going to be an int, and by default it's 1, meaning when I do my calculation on the compute glitchiness, I'm doing if I modulo that is different than 0, I simply do new points is append points of I, and then I continue. And so now, theoretically, if you look at that, I have a way to set the glitchiness, but I can also say how many points I want to affect. So for example, 10, and now it's affecting 1. It's not affecting 1. It's affecting... How can I say that? You see what I mean? And also I would need that to react to the setget. Setget set glitch point effect. Points effect. This is stupid. I need to find a way to tell it. To find I need a better name. New points int, and it's returning nothing, but it does this, meaning new points. It does points glitch points effect, and I will definitely put that into its own little function and stuff, because yeah. New points is already defined in the scope at line 94. What do you mean? 94? What? New points. Ah, yeah, sorry. New P effect. New P effect. Let's go. So now we can modify this. Ah, perfect. So in here we do it on all of the points. In here we do it on all of the points that are even. Gotta go. Good luck with that. Goodbye, Mike. Thank you for dropping by. And then even less and less It's not exactly what I want, though, right? But it's still useful. And so by default, it could be 1. The result is really different, though, whenever you change that. Maybe it's because of the amplitude. Yeah, it creates something that is much more jagged. Anyway, it's not super amazing, but hey. So that's good. That's good. If I do that, though, I will have a problem, and it's that my half circle will not be able to fit inside of here. So I would need to turn it into a polygon, maybe, but then it would... I don't know. We'll think about it. I can probably do a polygon half circle. It's not a big deal. That's pretty cool, right? Hup. Normal, glitchy. Normal, glitchy. Normal, glitchy. Normal, glitchy. And then the cool thing is, of course, I can change the way it looks by simply changing the seed. I didn't do a setget. I don't know if the setget gets triggered when you modify the open simplex noise. Do you think it gets modified? Do you think it gets triggered? I mean, we can do it, right? We can do setget set glitch noise just on top of the points effect. New noise. It's open simplex noise. It's gonna pass the entire thing, right? It's gonna pass the entire thing. So noise, how is it called? Glitch noise is equal to new noise, and then you do the thing. No, my glitch noise is not here anymore, but that's okay because it's here. Goop and gap, boop. And so now, if I modify it, it doesn't trigger for some reason. It doesn't trigger. Yeah, because the parameters are not. Is there a way? Is there a way to do that? Is there a way to react to the parameters of the type? Godot does it, right? Godot does it, because otherwise, how would that work? When you modify that, the textures gets modified. So the texture reacts to the resource properties. Is there a way to do that? Is there a way to do that? Godot react to properties change in resource, exported resource. I've never done that. Oh my god, it's already 6 p.m. I need to change. I need to go soon. Exported properties. It's becoming it's fun because like maybe 2 years ago, or maybe even a year ago, it was a problem. Looking for answers for Godot 4 was a problem because every time you were asking something, it was Godot 3. Now it's the opposite. Every time I'm looking for something, the answers are for Godot 4, and I don't care. It's really frustrating. I have no idea. I have no idea. Do you have an idea? Godot, is the difference that big? I know they changed a lot of how shaders work. Well, the thing is, if I can avoid looking at documentation that is not correct, it's always better. For example, the exports changed a lot with Godot 4. You now have a bunch of exports that you can use, like export range, export button, etc, etc. So if I find something related to the exports in Godot 4, it's probably not going to be the same as in Godot 3, right? Unfortunately. Exported properties, perfect. Let's look at that. And I want to look at 3.6. Introduction to exports. Is there somewhere something about a resource? In the inspector, you can drag and drop a resource. Set. Flags. Integer used as bit flags can store multiple true false booleans values in one property by using the export int flags. We must provide a string description for each flag. Oh, you know that I was not aware of that? You know that I was not aware of that? This is incredible. Let me check something. I was not aware of that. This is super useful. I need this. I need this for one of my object. No, don't tell me it works. Oh my god. I was not aware of that. Why? Why was I not aware of that? This is incredible. This is incredible. For fuck's sake, this is incredible. Now I can easily say, hey, do the walls and whatever, the player damage and whatever. I thought I had to do the bit flags myself. Oh my god, so cool. Oh my god, this is so cool. Okay, I'm using it right away. Explosion. I know it's explosion that is needing this explosion. Look at that. Look at that. 2 damage layer. Oh my god, yes. Look at that. Now I can just pass the layer instead of having to set a bunch of stupid stuff like that. Oh my god. So much better. 4.4 lets you add buttons for like random stuff. It's going to be nice. Yeah, it's super useful because otherwise you'd have to use a boolean. In the past I was using a boolean. When the boolean is set to true, you do your calculation and then you set it to false, but it's not amazing, right? So that is super useful. Exporting arrays. Exporting arrays can specify type using the same hint as before. No! What? Godot 3 was already available, was already able to do that. That's fucking crazy. But this is amazing. So now if I go, I missed so many things. Sometimes just reading the doc is amazing, right? And sometimes you forget about it. Like if I go onto my hitbox, I have in here an upgrades to check. So in fact, I can say upgrades to check. It can be an export. It can be an array of resource. Oh my god. And the only thing is that it probably can't be my own resource. No? Yeah, it can't be my own resource. But otherwise, it can be a resource. And so in here, when I do that, it lets me... What? I'm still able to do that though, no? Texture part arrays with typed arrays. Default value can be rent. Ah! For some reason, export to check, it lets me put something else inside of it. Unfortunately. This is weird. Maybe because I didn't save yet. Oh no! Sorry. Because all of those things are resources. I'm stupid. Sorry. I'm stupid. No. That was an engine limitation. No, but all of those things are resources. That's why I can put them in here. That's the only problem, is that I would like to be able to put my own resource, and in Godot 4, I'm probably able to specify my type in here. Now in here, I'm just putting a resource. So all of those things are resources, unfortunately. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. I will reopen my enemy base just to be sure, my block and my gem orb, just to make sure that it works. That it still has on the hitbox enemy, it still has the thing because it's still the same thing, so it works. In here, hitbox enemy. Okay. Pretty sure it was an engine limitation. Yeah, but there was some limitations on that. But wow, okay, really cool. Okay. So in here, export bit flags. In here, it's telling you that you can export a bunch of animation node, whatever. Texture. Okay. Multi-line. That it's a file. Okay, there are so many things. I'm not using that naming scheme very often. But you see, it's a path to a file, not just a path to a directory. It's cool, right? You have a bunch of things that you can do. And if you want to do something more advanced, you can do the get property list. And I guess this is how grouping properties, and I guess this is how you can react to, yeah, if you do the get property list stuff in here, you can probably do what I wanted with the resource. You can probably grab the resource, see that it's a resource, and then check if upgrades to check explosions 0. Doesn't have to check something. You see what I mean? You can probably let me just make sure that I don't want anything in here. I want 0. You could probably do what I wanted, which is react to those numbers changing, because unfortunately right now it doesn't do that. By default it doesn't do that. Because the resources, it's when you set the resource. So I guess a way to do it, if I want, like for example, I modify that, I guess a way to do it is to simply do copy and paste, and now it works because I'm resetting the entire resource. It's a small limitation, but okay. There's something that I don't know about open simplex noise. Get noise, get image, get noise, get seamless image. Generate a tileable noise using image format L8 based on the current noise parameters. Generated seamless images are always square. Seamless noise has a lower contrast compared to a non-seamless noise. This is due to the way noise uses a higher dimension for generating seamless noise. Okay, interesting. Because I was thinking, if I want to scroll my noise, how would I do it? Because it's not going to be seamless, but I'm creating the seamless in here. So I'm creating the thing, so it's okay, alright. I should be able to offset it. I should be able to offset it. But I'm wondering how inefficient it is compared to doing it with a shader though. Right? It's something to think about. I should probably try to measure at some point what is the impact. Maybe it's nothing, and so I should not worry about it. But I'm also a bit I'm worrying a bit if it's not going to be a lot of points especially if I move them in real time, but maybe not. Maybe what is slow is the rendering of the line itself. I don't know. Phew, I think I'm finally at a usable point in my dynamic tutorial. That took way too long. It's very difficult to make a good tutorial. Can be really difficult because you have to do so many things, right? You have to create the things. You have to wait for the user input. It's a lot of sequencing. It's like a boss fight in a way, right? It can be difficult. Okay, so now that I have this, that I have this way of creating a glitchiness. What I want then is to reuse it on the arena. I want to reuse it on the arena. Because I want the arena to also deform with time. I think this is something that is going to be cool. Or that the arena is simply going to do like... The seed looks ugly though, right? Taste. Blah, 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 blah. And if you do that, it doesn't work anymore, so you need to have one. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's very cool. That is very cool. I like it. I like it. I like it. I don't know exactly when I'm going to use it though. But it looks pretty cool. And so I have so many other things to do. This is crazy. I think I just need to go through the things at some point, create some spawning effects. Right? I need to stop using the test, and I need to start creating the actual arena that I want. I think that way I'm going to be able to sequence the things and whatever. This is going to be perfect though. This is going to be perfect because it's kind of what I want. If you think about the appear animation, I think I can create an animation player in here really quickly. I'm not going to spend too much time because I don't have a lot of time. I need to go and go to the pharmacy and prepare for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm leaving, so I'm not here this weekend. I have some side projects that I want to be working on at some point, but I might wait for the demo to be released because I don't know if I will have time. But otherwise, I might work on them a bit during the weekend. But I'm not here this weekend. I'm with friends, and so I won't be able to do it. But if you think about that appear animation, what I think I'm going to do is use that sprite as a way to modify everything. So you see my scale. Oh, do I use a Bezier track? I don't think I need to. This is what I want to arrive at, and this is the value I start with. So basically I have an appear animation that lasts at least, I don't know, 6 seconds. It's probably going to be at least that. We have at least 3 seconds of growing. So we have something like that. It's probably bigger than this. It's probably at least 4. So we have... And then we arrive in... I think I will need... I think I will need the Bezier curves. Unless I cheat. Let me think. Unless I cheat. Sometimes I cheat like that and it works. So I would arrive in here This is shit. This is shit. I need to find some reference on how exactly it would look like. It would need to be incredibly fast and have a bit of a curve after. This is shit. And this is because this one is an ease in and out. It should probably ease out. No. No, this is shit. So let's remove that. Let's remove that for now. Let's remove that for now. Let's do that. Let's go into the ultimate effect. Charge effect. And I have charge particles. This is what I want. Perfect. The charge particles are doing that. This is kind of what I want. Perfect. So I will reuse that for the boss, or at least start with something that looks like this. Ultimate charge effect. Ultimate charge particles. I could make that emitting. But it's not going to be long enough. So what I would do. Why not, in fact? Why does it do that? Because I'm using charge. Could it be that I'm doing editable children? In here, I'm not calling emitting, because that would be stupid. And I'm calling this shit charge. I'm doing two things. I'm animation track on here. I'm calling charge, but charge is too slow and there's no way to make it bigger in here, right? That would be so cool, right? When you call an animation track, one cool feature with Godot could be that if you are a nice feature for the editor, if you are in here, you could resize it. It would show you that it's stretched, of course, right? It would show you that it's stretched. And basically what it would do is it would calculate automatically how much playback option speed you should use. Because in here you don't see it. If the speed is 0.5, you don't see that charge being longer, right? Or do you see it? You see what I mean? 0.2? It's still the same time, but the reality is that it's going to take much longer. I think. Yeah, you can see it's taking much longer. But you don't see it. If it's 1 second, that would be so fucking cool. Huh? It's completely buggy. Oh, because it starts before 0, that's why it's buggy. So because it's 1 second, and I want 4 seconds, I need to put it to 0.25, right? And now if I launch... Yeah. It's not exactly, it's 125. The truth is that it's 125. So it shouldn't be exactly that. That's why it doesn't look the way I want. But you see how it could be useful to have just the ability to drag that clip, and basically you would scale it by dragging it, and it would calculate automatically what should be the speed. That would be really useful. And so as I'm doing this, of course, initially the force field is empty, is not visible, I mean. So you make it not visible. On reset track, I'm going to make it visible, because otherwise I can't see it, and that's unfortunate. So maybe after we arrive in here, it becomes visible. Not even sure, to be honest. But initially it is not visible. So you arrive here, you charge, the boss appears. It makes the screen shake also. It should make the screen shake. There is something weird. Why does it do that at the end? Why is there this at the end? It's so weird. My boss would scale. And as my boss is scaling, maybe as my boss is scaling and appearing, maybe we already see the glitchiness, right? What do you think? Maybe we see the glitchiness appear. Let's try a bunch of stuff. It looks stupid because it would need to rotate at the same time. To look less stupid, it would need to rotate, or the thing would need to be like animated or something. But also the values are like way too slow. Maybe it would just need to rotate at the same time, and that would be okay. Rotation value. And at the end, you're doing like 1080. What does it do if you do that? Looks stupid. Looks really stupid. And of course, then there's the big shockwave sent through on the entire screen. It's gonna require some work, right? It's not beautiful. It's not incredible yet. It's definitely not incredible yet. It's definitely not incredible yet. But hey. Alright. I think I need to go now. Don't hesitate to check the message that I pinned, right? That I pinned in the chat to test the local co-op. That would be amazing if you could give it a try and help me on that. That would be really, really cool. I'm gonna stop it here, and I'm gonna be live again on Monday working on this. I will try to think about specifically what I want. Maybe I storyboard a bit more the entrance of the boss. That way we know exactly what we do, and maybe we work on that. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you for being here. Is there anyone that we should raid on Twitch? Is there anyone that we should raid? And in the meantime, YouTube, I say goodbye, and I will see you later.